Hello? Yeah, we can't hear you. You need to unmute somehow. Do you see the little muted
Thank
microphone?
you. Yep, got it. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. And is this Kim and Patty?
And Jeff, Kim and Jeff.
Yeah, oh, Kim and Jeff. Okay. Good evening. I'm going to wait just because the meeting's supposed to start at 7, but I'm glad you're here early and we'll get through this quickly. And we have 5 regular members here and 2 alternates. We have the whole board. The regular members, nobody lives close enough to you to have to recuse themselves. So we have, there are 5 people voting. You need 3 positive votes to pass this out of 5. Okay, so at least 3 people have to say yes. You don't need a unanimous vote, just so you understand.
Will you vote tonight? Will we know before this is done?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's why you're here, and this is supposed to be expedient. If it was more complicated or something, it'd be, we could ask for all kinds of stuff, but it's not that complicated, so we should be okay.
Good.
Does anybody have a problem? I'm going to say that it's close enough. All right. This is appeal number 2260, O'Leary at 22 Leonard Avenue, Plattsburgh. The owner is Mary O'Leary. Can I assume that is a parent?
Correct.
Yes. Who's your parent or whose parent?
My parent, my mother.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so anyway, you want to add a breezeway and a garage. And the garage itself, the reason you're here, and by the way, thank you for the not only neatly written, but good answers to questions. Mostly people just write no, 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 no. They don't answer anything except to say no. You actually answered the questions. So that was good. But anyway, the reason, just so you understand, the reason you're here is because you want to connect the garage to the house. If this was a freestanding garage, not only could you build it bigger and closer to the property line, you could put it 5 feet from the property line because it'd be an accessory structure. Okay, a garage or a shed, an accessory structure. So you could put it closer, and it is in the rear yard. Well, what happens is when you connect it with a breezeway, it becomes part of the house and falls under the rules of a principal structure, and that requires certain setbacks. In your case, because you have a narrower lot, a 60-foot lot, you're required to provide 80% of the required setbacks. The required setbacks in your neighborhood for a full-size lot are 10 on one side as a minimum, and 25 combined. In your case, it'd be 8 on one side and a minimum of 20. Well, you had 20 before, but you've never had the 8 on one side. You only have 5 feet, and that's a deficiency that was pre-existing before zoning when the house was built. Okay? Or maybe that's an addition, I don't know, but it certainly didn't come under zoning at the time. So relative to this application, that's considered a pre-existing non-conforming condition. In other words, okay, that's a good thing. That's not bad. In other words, it's not your fault that it's pre-existing non-conforming. That's not your fault. So the real question comes down to what will this do detrimentally to the neighborhood? And it's in the back. If you didn't know, if you looked down the driveway, you couldn't tell if it was detached or not. I'm giving some of my own opinion here, I guess. But relatively, whether this was detached, if you built the same garage and didn't put the breezeway on, the effect of having this breezeway is minimal as far as I'm concerned. And we'll let the board ask these questions. But it's pretty straightforward. I mean, and I certainly understand why you'd want to be able to connect to that garage. And I think this is, again, my opinion. And we've all read the application, by the way, so we don't have to go through all the stuff of reading all your answers. I mean, thank you for thoughtfully preparing them. You're familiar with them, so are we. But really, you've stayed 10 feet away. Some people would come and say, it's just the same as an accessory structure. I want the 5 feet plus the breezeway. So, you're not asking for the world in a sense here, my opinion anyway. But two things are going to happen. First, we're going to have a little general discussion. Well, three things. Then, see if anybody has any questions. Then I'm going to open it to the public. Then we're going to do the seeker, which is the environmental thing, to see if it has any environmental impact. And then we're going to vote on that. And then we're going to vote on the application. Okay? So the first thing is I'm going to ask any board members if they have questions. I assume everybody's read the application. Does anybody have any questions about this whatsoever? Okay. Okay. Kyle, can you tell me if there's anybody raising their hand in the Zoom audience to speak?
Yeah, there's no one in the audience.
Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this now. And just to be clear, we did have the building inspector make sure that there's not an open space or building coverage issue or anything like that. So the only deficiency here is that, depending on how you look at it, this causes the entire structure to be short 5 feet from your required combined setbacks. Okay, and there are several ways to look at it. We could say that this more than exceeds one side and the other side's deficient, and there's all kinds of ways, but it's just not that serious, I think. The motion would only have to do with one deficiency, which is to allow 15 feet of combined side yard setback where 20 is required. That's what we would be voting on, okay? We've closed the public hearing. I want to know if anybody has any comments. I do, about the seeker. You did pretty well. You did about half right on the one question, which almost nobody ever even gets half right. And it's a little confusing, and that is question number 2. Does the proposed project require permit approval or funding from any other governmental agency? If yes, and you have the building permit, but really, we generally seem to require, even though this is a seeker to us, that you would say a ZBA variance, okay? But that's okay. Some people say no to the whole thing. So you did fine. Does anybody have any questions about the seeker? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion regarding the seeker.
I make a motion that after review of part 1 of the seeker, that the chair check no or small impact may occur for items 1 through 11 on part 2 of the form, and check the box indicating that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact, and sign.
I'll second
Great. And who's that, Kelly?
Yep.
Okay. So I am going to, all in favor by a raise of hands? Aye. Okay. So that is a seeker. That's the environmental thing to say that you're not going to hurt the environment by building this garage. Okay. And I am going to sign that, saying that so, and I'll turn this, it'll become part of the record. Okay. Are there any other questions regarding this application before we get to a motion? Okay, there are none. So I'm looking for a motion to approve an area variance for appeal number 2260, allowing 15 feet of combined yard setback where 20 is required.
I'll make a motion in regards to appeal 2260 for a Class B area variance for Kim and Elizabeth O'Leary at 22 Leonard Ave to allow a combined setback of 15 feet where 20 is required, and only for the 24 feet that the garage is violating that setback.
Okay. Seconded by Megan. Okay. Now, we're gonna all text to Lisa, and a yes vote is to approve this.
Elizabeth, yes.
Yes.
Megan, yes.
Yes.
Ron, yes.
Yes.
Kelly, yes.
Yes.
Scott, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Pat, thank you very much. You're all approved. You're all set. Go get your plans done. Thank you so much for participating in the process. Really, really appreciate it, very seriously, and for filling out such a good application. And I'm not being sarcastic in the slightest. No, I'm not, really. It was very refreshing.
Thank you very much. And thank
You're
all of
all
you for
set.
doing it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Kim,
Have a
is
good-
this,
Good.
Kim,
Yeah?
is this the
Enjoy
house
it.
you grew up in?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I'm Scott DeMaine.
Scott
last names-
DeMay.
The last
Yes,
names
yes.
don't show up. Okay.
Up on Hillcrest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't that
but that
funny?
did not influence his vote.
It did not.
Good. It's only
Okay,
a
thank you
small-
very much. We're all set. All right.
Okay, good night.
Does anybody, good night, you guys. Does anybody have any other business, old or new? No? Then I am looking, I don't know if this might be a record. It could be. Yeah, go ahead, Julie.
If I fill out my application like that, do I get kudos brownie points?
Say, I couldn't hear what you said.
No, we expect it of you. We're held,
okay.
we're held to a different standard here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So does anybody have anything else? If not, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
It's Mad Dash for seconding it.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you, Ethan. Good night, everyone. That might be a record. We'll say 11 minutes.